don't forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the Vato speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
In an article published on May 19, 2011 by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office was quoted as saying, the retaliatory shootings was part of a heated rivalry between the group known as the Campbellton Road Crew and the violent 30 Deep Gang and the international Robbin crew. Authorities said the fighting between the gangs was the leading cause to the violence in Atlanta, with some referring to it as the bloody summer of 2007. Now, what's particularly tragic about this specific summer in Atlanta is countless lives was lost and many others were drastically altered. I'm going to focus on 3.
When asked about his relationship with Pac-Man Jones, Morris replied, "That's my partner. He's my friend. We hang out." When asked why Jones would tell police that Morris extorted and threatened him after the Las Vegas shooting, Morris said, "He's lying. I know it ain't true. Why would I tell that to a friend? I think he's trying to play football."
Right now, more than 100,000 Louisiana residents evacuated to Atlanta after Katrina.
Of course, hindsight is always 20/20, but I think that where I went wrong was I saw all of the crimes that were being committed against people over the summer. You know, the home invasions and all of from the guys from New Orleans who came here and was kind of like running through the city, having their way with certain people.
On the eve of the summer of 2007, on April 10th of that year, NFL Commissioner Robert Goodell announced that Adam Pac-Man Jones would be given a 1-year suspension for violation of the NFL player conduct policy, with the suspension to be reevaluated after the 10th regular season game. This marked the first time in 44 years, or since 1963, that a player was suspended for offense other than substance abuse. Pac-Man took out a full-page ad in the Tennessean, promised that he would win back the trust of his teammates and the fans of the Tennessee Titans. Born and raised in the city of Atlanta, and with all the newfound time on his hands, it wouldn't really work out that way for Pac-Man.
Not long after he was drafted, during his holdout, I went to Jacksonville, spent some time with him, asked him the question if he had to pick the NFL, over his friends. He said he would pick his friends.
I mean, if you look at it right now, and after 2 years and all the incidents, I think, on the field, certainly wasn't a mistake. He's a quality player. Off the field, yeah.
I've learned a lot, for the most part, and I've learned, so I'm all right. I've learned a lot from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just got to watch where I go and watch the people around me. Now I know that I'm a target.
My rookie year, I was rookie of the year. Well, I didn't make defense rookie year, but I was special team rookie of the year. My second year, I was second team All-Pro. I was just about to sign a $60 million extension. And then that's when I got in trouble in Vegas. Mm-hmm. Then, so I get in trouble in Vegas and missed 2 of my prime years. I was 23, 24, 25. I was 25 when I went to Dallas, I think. Mm-hmm. But, I missed a lot of my prime, where when I could wake up in the morning and run 4.25 with just, without stretching or not doing nothing. You get what I'm saying?
NFL news. Adam Pac-Man Jones of the Tennessee Titans, as well as Chris Henry, wide receiver of the Cincinnati Bengals, were both suspended by the NFL this season. Pac-Man Jones, who's had his run-ins with the law, been in the wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately, was suspended for the entire NFL season. The entire NFL season for 2007-2008.
The NFL is suspending Adam Pac-Man Jones indefinitely. It comes just days after the Dallas Cowboys cornerback got into an alcohol-related scuffle with one of his bodyguards. The incident happened during a private party in an upscale downtown Dallas hotel on October 7th.
He's getting fed on a silver platter and he's making good money. He needs to act right. He needs to obey all the rules and regulations of the NFL.
The league said Jones will miss at least 4 games for violating the league's personal conduct policy. Then NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell will determine the final length of the suspension after the Cowboys game in Washington on November 16th. Goodell called the latest incident the continuation of a disturbing pattern of behavior and clearly inconsistent with the conditions set for Jones' continued participation in the NFL.
One chance is one chance. I'd cut him loose. I mean, you're paying somebody too much money to carry their attitude around.
Football is full of bad guys, so I mean they have a choice either to let them play or sit them on the bench, one or the other. I think they should let them play.
Jones missed the entire 2007 season after run-ins with the law while with the Tennessee Titans.
Troubles of Adam Pac-Man Jones' new and deeper twist. Sometimes it seems that Pac-Man Jones's life
every day is somebody here. Can I have my own privacy, man?
Is like one continuous punt return. Always exciting, seldom predictable, constantly chaotic.
A very different story tonight about
Placed under arrest for disorderly conduct.
That's racial profile. No. Locked up for no.
He's got to be the tough guy. You know what I mean? He's got to be the one to say whatever's got to be said.
Adam Pac-Man Jones grew up in a housing project in southwest Atlanta. Jones's mother, Deborah, spent 3 years in prison on drug charges. His father was shot and killed when Jones was 6.
I think that was the hardest time in his life. He didn't want to go to school, he didn't want to read, he didn't want to do anything.
By the time he got to Westlake High School, Pac-Man Jones had a reputation. A bright, cocky, athletic kid with a temperament shaped by his rough neighborhood.
We heard that he was a tough kid and that he had got into, a few fights here and there. So as a staff, the first thing we did was we went to him and we put a group of individuals around him to make sure that he didn't get in trouble.
Even when he got out, got off the path, there was somebody there to put him back in it. You know what I'm saying?
In high school, Jones won 2 state championships in basketball and was all-state in football.
And he's going all the way for a touchdown.
He accepted a scholarship to West Virginia, where he made the honor roll, but was also arrested for allegedly beating a fellow student with a pool cue. Jones was sentenced to 2 years probation. April of 2005, the Tennessee Titans made Jones the first defensive player taken in the entire draft, despite concerns about his character.
The story is that Jeff Fisher told people in the draft room before they picked him, there was a lot of controversy whether this is the right pick, that he said, I can handle this guy. I know he's had some troubles in the past, but this is the guy I can take control of.
Jeff and I had a lot of long conversations about Pac and, what are the potential problems and, what do we need to do and how we need to do it. Former Titans general manager Floyd Reese says the selection of Jones was one of the few times the team's draft formula, which does take character into account, didn't work. The process goes out and drafts Steve McNair, and it drafts Eddie George, and it drafts Javon Kursk, and it drafts Vince Young, and it drafts Pac-Man Jones. And you wonder what happened there. Just 3 days after the draft, Atlanta police interviewed Jones after his alleged involvement in a fight at a strip club. He was never charged. Since the team drafted Jones less than 2 years ago, he's been arrested or questioned by police in at least 10 incidents. They include the triple shooting at a Las Vegas strip club.
Arguably coming off his best year in 2006, a year that saw him star as Rashad in the cultural classic ATL, with the film premiering on March 8th in over 16,000 theaters across the U.S. The film would gross $11.5 million in its opening week and ranked third only behind 20th Century Fox's animation The Ice Age and Inside Man, a Spike Lee directed film starring Denzel Washington, making its opening weekend a success while helping the talented artists from ATL trying to find ground cross over in a sense. A year that would see him nominated for 2 Grammys, one for Best Collaboration for Soldier, a Destiny's Child song that him, along with Lil Wayne, would be featured on, as well as Best Rap Solo Performance for his smash single, You Don't Know Me. Riding all of that momentum, he would release arguably his best album, T.I. vs. Tip, the day before Independence Day on July 3rd, right in the middle of the infamous summer of 2007. The album would sell about 500,000 copies in its first week, debuting at number 1 on Billboard 200, as well as the top hip-hop and R&B charts. With all of his success and newfound major fame, at the time, T.I. was possibly the biggest artist in a city full of stars. But with the climate in the city changing, one of the biggest natural disasters the nation has ever seen, leading to an influx of evacuees in the A, some would say that Tip will become a target.
Mr. Harris is going to remain under very strict bond conditions for the next year. If he performs his community service as expected and lives up to the many other obligations of his bond and plea agreement, then he will still receive a substantial sentence for the crimes he committed. A year in federal prison, 3 years of supervised release, including a year of home detention, a total of 1,500 hours of community service, and a $100,000 fine.
Hours before he was to take the stage at the BET Hip Hop Awards, federal agents say rapper T.I. arranged to purchase machine guns and silencers. Agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives arrested the Grammy winner at a shopping center blocks away from the venue. Word of the arrest spread quickly along the red carpet.
I heard his name too, and I didn't get a chance to find out though.
Oh, okay, because I know he's supposed to perform tonight as well.
Yeah, that's sad though.
T.I., whose real name is Clifford Harris, was nominated in 9 categories. He was supposed to headline the award show, but remained in federal custody during the taping. Meanwhile, 15 miles outside the city, agents spent hours searching the rapper's home. According to court documents, T.I. arranged for a bodyguard to pick up $12,000 in cash from a local bank and use the funds to buy machine guns. The rapper then made arrangements to take possession of the guns Saturday afternoon, but the sellers were actually undercover federal agents.
I'm saddened anytime I hear of a hip-hopper being locked up or somehow stunted in his life and in his growth, and I just want a quick remedy to that.
A spokesman for T.I.'s label, Atlantic Records, declined to comment.
Of course, hindsight is always 20/20, but I think that where I went wrong was I saw all of the crimes that were being committed against people over the summer. You know, the home invasions and all of the guys from New Orleans who came here and was kind of like running through the city, having their way with certain people here and there. See, I witnessed these things, and not only that, in addition to that, having the experience of, you know, Phil dying in Cincinnati in 2006, and, you know, having no arrest being made, you know, up until just, I think, maybe 4 months ago. And not only that, my prior knowledge, the people who killed Tupac have never been arrested. The people who killed Biggie have never been arrested. People who killed Jam Master Jay have never been arrested. No rapper has ever gotten killed and the crime got solved. So I'm looking at history and saying, well, I'm the easiest person to kill. I mean, for real, you can kill me and it says history has shown me no one would care. Now, instead of getting involved with these programs, as Mike just suggested, I took another approach, which I greatly regret. But, you know, I can't excuse my behavior and my actions. The best I can do is try to explain them, you know, so people don't just look at me as the stupid little rapper with the machine guns.
Leading into the summer and the spring of 2007, a childhood friend of Pac-Man Jones by the name of Christopher Davis would begin receiving random phone calls. In these phone calls, a man was said to be demanding money. Davis would even tell the police, quote, there was threats about killing us. Davis, along with Pac-Man, has grown to know the man to be not the type to bluff. So Davis would make 2 wire transfers, totaling $3,800 to a woman in Seattle, along with dropping $10,000 given to him by Pac-Man Jones behind some bushes in a Chick-fil-A in Atlanta. And sometime in 2007, Christopher Davis would be contacted by Las Vegas PD, and they would have a lot of questions, asking him what was the relationship between Pac-Man Jones and Slugga Morris, who was the mystery caller that would hint that they was behind the Mink strip club shooting during NBA All-Star Weekend in 2007, and what was the caller's relationship to Morris. At that time, Christopher Davis would give the Las Vegas detectives some advice. Quote, if I was trying to figure out what this whole thing is about, who I talk to is Slugga.
As for Edward Morris, the other man Jones says was in on the extortion plot, according to court documents, Jones told police Morris didn't just extort money from him. He threatened him if he didn't pay up, and told a friend of Jones that if Jones refused, Morris would go after Jones, his mother, and daughter. Morris's nickname is Slugga, and while his rap sheet dates back to his days in New Orleans, according to court documents, Morris is one of the founding members of a notorious street gang known as the International Robbin Crew, which prosecutors describe as the most violent gang anyone can ever remember in Atlanta. Slugga Morris is currently here in Atlanta's Fulton County Jail, awaiting trial on 3 counts of murder. Prosecutors say his gang may be responsible for as many as 8 murders. But Morris, the man who allegedly threatened Pac-Man Jones and his family members, was a free man in the summer of 2007. And it may surprise you to know where he was on the night of that shooting near Club Blaze.
Is this the man you saw that night?
Yes.
The man he identified is Slugga Morris.
Yes, that was him. The reason I know him because he got that tattoo right here.
That tattoo that looks like a New Orleans Saints symbol in the middle of his head.
According to the shooting victims and 2 club employees, 4 months after Jones says Morris extorted money from him and threatened the lives of Jones and his family, Slugga Morris was at Club Blaze, and he was there with Pac-Man Jones.
He was standing right next to Pac-Man, standing in the sense that he was protecting Pac-Man or was with him.
He was definitely with Pac-Man.
He was with Pac-Man Jones standing right beside me. This the guy. This the guy right here, most definitely.
And after watching this video, a Club Blaze employee told Outside the Lines that this man, one of the men who followed the shooting victims out of the club, is Slugga Morris. In June, Outside the Lines spoke with Slugga Morris by phone from the Fulton County Jail. When asked about his relationship with Pac-Man Jones, Morris replied, "That's my partner. He's my friend. We hang out." When asked why Jones would tell police that Morris extorted and threatened him after the Las Vegas shooting, Morris said, "He's lying. I know it ain't true. Why would I tell that to a friend? I think he's trying to play football."
All weekend long, Metro Police were busy trying to keep the peace.
Metro Police are investigating 2 shootings that took place early this morning. One happened in the parking garage at MGM around 4 a.m., the other about an hour later outside Mink's Gentlemen's Club. That's at Wynn Road and Tompkins. Police say a fight started when customers at the club threw thousands of dollars, $1 bills on the stage. Eyewitnesses say people inside, including the dancers, started scrambling for the money, but when authorities started to close down the club, police say shots were fired just outside the doors, hitting 3 people. One eyewitness describes the scene.
I had almost walked out the front door basically and almost got shot. They started shooting at the front door, so I ran inside and hid under like a table.
2 club employees are in critical condition tonight. The 3rd victim just grazed by a bullet, not seriously hurt, and no one has been arrested.
When you hear that Adam Jones says he was extorted by Edward Morris, also known as Slugga, after the Las Vegas shooting, and then he's hanging out with Slugga the night of the shooting at Club Blaze, what do you think?
Bullshit. Lack of a better term, it's impossible. If you were being extorted by somebody who threatened your family, you definitely wouldn't be cohorting with them inside of a nightclub.
My client never extorted Mr. Jones. I mean, I'll say that crystal clear.
Derek Wright is Slugga Morris's attorney.
If you look at the fact that they were seen interacting with each other, hanging out with each other after the Vegas incident, that would betray any idea that he's extorting.
You've acknowledged your client was at Club Blaze?
He was there and was in communication with Mr. Jones.
Wright says the friendship between Pac-Man Jones and Slugga Morris dates back to before the Las Vegas shooting, and that he's notified Las Vegas prosecutors in an effort to discredit Jones' allegations of threats and extortion.
It does seem that Mr. Jones' statements in Las Vegas are inconsistent with the truth and probably should be, hopefully will be, re-examined.
Inconsistent with the truth sounds like a lawyer's way of saying he lied.
One might reach that conclusion, yes.
Is it possible Slugga Morris was friends with Pac-Man Jones before the Las Vegas incident? He then extorted and threatened him, and then they became friendly again?
That defies logic and common sense, no.
But beyond raising new questions about Pac-Man Jones' allegation that money was extorted from him following the Las Vegas shooting, Outside the Lines has obtained never-before-released information about the incident here at Club Blaze, information that implicates Jones as the man behind the shooting that happened just down the road. The man on the top right of your screen is Marcel Easterling. Outside the Lines obtained this video of his October 2007 statement to Atlanta investigators. Charged with 6 murders, Easterling, prosecutors say, is an admitted member of the international robbing crew, the same gang as Slugga Morris. But according to court documents, Easterling has turned on his fellow gang members and will avoid prison time through an immunity deal if he testifies against Morris and the others in a major Atlanta murder trial. During the interview, Easterling unexpectedly mentions Pac-Man Jones and the dispute he had with Darian inside Club Blaze. Easterling says he wasn't at Club Blaze that night, but he says the next day Morris told him what happened. Easterling's statement, though difficult to understand, is clarified by prosecutors' transcripts. He says after Jones and Darian exchanged words, Jones told Slugga Morris he'd pay him to shoot Darian, who's referred to here by Easterling as Buddy.
So Pat, he basically tells Slugga, like, yo, I'll give y'all, like, I think he told me to give him, like, 10. No, he didn't know nothing. He didn't even tell him the price. Like, yo, you know, he'll pay him to shoot Buddy.
The day after the shooting, Morris's nickname, Slugga, appeared in news accounts of the incident. That same day, Easterling says, he went to Slugga Morris's house in South Atlanta. He says he was sitting here on the front porch as Morris spoke on the phone to a friend of Pac-Man Jones, telling him Pac-Man was going to have to give him at least 10 or 20, meaning $10,000 or $20,000 for the shooting.
That would be consistent with the idea that Mr. Jones asked for a hit on somebody, and after the hit was done or attempted, he had to pay for it.
Derek Wright won't say whether his client Slugga Morris carried out a hit for Pac-Man Jones, or whether he tried to collect money for a hit a day later. But not once did he deny Marcel Easterling's statement about what happened.
I would suggest if you just look at that alone, would that not be enough to further investigate the involvement? Do you simply look for the person's alleged to do a shooting, or do you look for the person who is alleged to have ordered the shooting, paid for the shooting?
Just before the year 2007 would end in the city of Atlanta, a grand jury would indict 9 people for a series of murders and robberies committed across the city over the previous 2 years, with the authorities saying that the crimes seemed to be linked to gang activity. In the 39-count indictment, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office would say that 8 of the defendants were members of a New Orleans-based street gang, with the members being Daquan Stevens, Marcel Easterling, Maurice Hargrove, Ashton Walter Mitchell, Jeremy Dunn, Vincent Morris, Carlo Drenton, a lone female by the name of Tiffany Baxton, and last, the person that I would say that will become the face of the international Robbin crew, along with a lot of the violence that would occur in Atlanta in 2007, Edward Slugga Morris. Now, no one close to the situation ever said, nor has it ever been documented in any of the government's investigations, that T.I. was a target of the group. But if y'all happen to notice, and if y'all didn't, go back and look during T.I.'s press conference, where he would happen to be sitting alongside recent 3-time Grammy winner and Atlanta native Killer Mike, while T.I. was trying to do his best to explain the situation that was going on in the city. He didn't even have to, as Killer Mike would finish with the guys from New Orleans. Now, one of the main reasons I really had to cover this story is most people that cover it portray it like they just went to Atlanta and they terrorized people in the city. That they did to some people, but they had a lot of people fighting back, and they also took scars from that war via guys like the incarcerated Major Grams, as well as somebody we did an episode on. If y'all didn't see it, go check it out, White Boy Marco. And as far as Pac-Man Jones is concerned, it's never really referenced or mentioned just exactly how his relationship with Edward Slugga Morris would begin. But as talented as he was, with some people saying that he was one of the best defensive backs at the time and probably the best kick returner in the NFL, 2007 would be his last year with the Tennessee Titans. And that aura or that stigma will follow him, with him continuing to be arrested even up until recently. But y'all know the saying, you could take the hood out the nigga, but he always gonna know how to get there. Y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real Trill Spill shit is dropping. Y'all hit that comment box below. Y'all tap in if y'all was in the city, especially in Atlanta at that time. Y'all let these people know what was going on. Y'all get down there, y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what we missed, what we got wrong, all of that. Y'all hit me directly on Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And until the next play, y'all already know the situation. Shay's Popalot. Salute the almighty mob.